So my name is Bree Ray. I'll be guiding you through today's workout. For today's class, you will need a 2 or 3 pound dumbbell. If you want to challenge yourself, you can double up and have like 2 dumbbells in one hand. But for most of the class, we'll be using that dumbbell with the arms, a little bit with the legs to help engage and control through the core. So let's talk about as we get through our introductions, we want to talk about always listen to your body. So if I'm saying something and you're like, no, that doesn't feel good, take the what your body is telling you first over what I'm telling you. Okay, always listen to your body. And make sure you have some water nearby if you need that to sip on. Take breaks as you need throughout the class. Most of the time, these classes are very accessible for everyone, but it's a great opportunity for you to challenge yourself. So we just want to make sure that everybody is challenged and getting to that next level of fitness for where you may be at right now. Okay, so now that we got that out of the way, let's start with some warm-ups. Your dumbbell is off to the side. I have mine right here, just for easy access. We'll get to that in a moment. So with your head, I want you to start to look from left to right and noticing any difference from that left to right rotation that you may have. As this is happening, I want you to try to lift your spine up taller, like there's a string pulling your head up away from your shoulders, and as if your tailbone is trying to sink down into your chair a little bit more. So now when you look to the right, hold that rotation, and then scrape the chin down across the collarbones, looking down, and then looking around to the left. So if your nose had a Sharpie pin on it, you're making just a very big U shape with that movement of your head and neck. So again, be very gentle with your movements here, especially through the neck, but always helping to warm up through the body. One more time to the left, and then look back forward. So now left ear to left shoulder, and right ear to right shoulder. Keep going. And yes, I can move a little closer to the camera. You can definitely do that. And there's also, let me just go ahead and pin this video to make the video bigger. That might be helpful there for you. All right, so then from there, do a couple more from left to right. And then let's work our way down to your hands. So reach those arms down by your side and give some little tremors there. These shakes allow the nerves, the muscles, the cardiovascular system to start to warm up and bring your attention to the extremities of the arms. And as you're doing this, look again from right to left, kind of helping to floss the nerves. And then lift the arms up. You can stop the shakes, but now turn towards your right palm, which you're going to turn up, and try to turn your left thumb as far down as you can. Rotate and twist the arms in the opposite direction. So left palm is up as you look towards the left, right palm is up as you look to the right. Keep rotating around and around from side to side. We'll do one more on each way. For each way, one more. Okay, so then from there, keep your arms and palms up. And like you're making a snow angel, reach the arms up overhead and then push the arms down through like imaginary honey or molasses or quicksand. Palms up as you raise up, palms down as you go down. As you're raising those arms up, let's try to keep the shoulders from lifting up towards the ears like this. Don't do that. Let's keep them down the back. So as your arms are lifting up, maybe can you feel the muscles behind or underneath of your armpits helping to lift and lower through the control. So now as the arms go up, keep them both up overhead, but now the left arm will stay there. Your right arm goes down maybe to the edge of your chair as you reach up and overhead, taking a nice big side body stretch. Inhale up. And bring the right arm with you, and exhale down and over towards the left side. We'll repeat that 2 more times each way. Inhale, both arms up, exhale over towards the right. Now notice how my feet are anchored down towards the ground. You can kind of see I'm not letting them lift up or down. They're staying anchored and flat. One more time to the right. Hold this side stretch. Then rotate left arm to the outside of your right leg and try to lift your chest and head up. into that nice, long, tall spine position. Breathe and hold. One more breath in. One more breath out. Start to round through the spine, looking down towards the ground, and then opening or lifting that left arm back up overhead, and then bringing it back up overhead and switch. So now left arm down, right arm up. Hold that side bend. Really try to reach towards the wall that's over to your left there. Then rotate your whole body to look down towards the ground as your right arm pushes into your left thigh. Start to inhale and lift your spine up like that string is pulling your head up towards the ceiling again. And one more inhale to hold. One more exhale to hold. Then take an inhale, prepare to exhale and round through the spine, looking back down towards the earth and lifting, inhaling that right arm up next to your ear and then coming all the way back up again. Okay, and so by opening up those sides of your body, we allow more air, more oxygen, more nutrients to come into the body. So now with those arms out in front of you, thumbs up, palms in, start to reach right arm up, left arm down, and even bring that left arm like back behind you. And then switch, left arm up, right arm down. Now, while this is happening, we want to make sure that the body isn't trying to like do anything too crazy here. We want to stay upright as the one arm comes down and back, and the other arm comes up and maybe back a little bit. So when we talk about moving through Pilates or Pilates classes with our body, we want to talk about the precision, the control that you have as you lift and lower one arm and the next. So we're not just like trying to pull back and like drop down and swing the arms around. Instead, we want to be able to feel again like you're moving through quicksand or honey or just really something thick like molasses. Okay, so now bring both arms down. Lift both arms up and then down. So then same concept applies. That precision and control is where we're not just like letting those arms drop and then just trying to like lift the arms up like we're puppets on a string. We are in control of our body the entire time. This is where like the neurogenesis of movement, creating new neural pathways comes into play. Okay, inhale up, exhale down. Now, the next time the arms come down and back behind you, reach them and hold them there. Turn the palms back behind you, like you're trying to high five somebody behind you, and then lean your body forward. Think of like a skier jumping off of a high jump. Then from there, reach those arms right next to the knees or shins, and then pull those arms back. And we're trying to feel how like the back of your arm, your triceps, and the back of your shoulders, where your scapula, your shoulder blades are, or your wing bones are trying to pull together as those arms pull back. Like imagine that there's a rubber band right between your shoulder blades, and that space is getting tinier and tinier when you pull back. 3 more. 2. Hold the arms back behind you. So now you look like this, final one. And now try to gently touch your thumbs together. So like you're trying to hide your palms behind you. Pulse, pulse, pulse. 5 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Come back up, rest the hands onto your thighs, and now cat and cow through the spine. Your cow spine is where you inhale and pull the heart upward and your belly forward and your gaze draws towards the ceiling. Exhale, round through the spine, gently press into your knees a little bit and feel that space right between the shoulders that we just worked to stretch open. Repeat that 2 more times. Inhale, pulling forward into what's called spinal extension. And then exhale, spinal flexion is the opposite of that, where we're trying to curl ourselves into a tight, tiny little ball. 1 more time, extension, we open the heart space as you pull the shoulders back. And then exhale, forward folding into that flexion. Now hold this flexion, your hands are now gonna slide down your legs. And depending on how far you feel comfortable going, maybe your hands even touch the ground. You could even walk the knees out away from each other. So your hands are on the inside of your knees, like so. And you can take that breath to now feel like you're filling up a balloon inside the belly. Notice how the body lifts, and then exhale. lower back down. If you're not all the way to the ground, you can hold on to the ankles or the shins and push your elbows out into your knees to kind of brace yourself here in this position. Take one more breath here. And as you inhale, stack the spine up tall, like you're stacking it up against a wall behind you, and then walk those feet together if you took that option to open them. All right, so now you'll have to scoot yourself back all the way if your chair does have a back against it. So a majority of your thigh is on top of the chair underneath it. Keep your left foot planted flat onto the mat there, or onto the ground. Stack the spine up tall, push into that left foot, and now straighten your right leg. Bend it back down and straighten. Your hands can rest wherever they feel comfortable. If you want to grab underneath of the chair and try to help your shoulders down and lift the neck taller, that might be an option for you. But can you maintain that length by finding the center? Another Pilates principle, by finding the center of your body. So everything that we do, give me about 4 more here. Everything that we do through Pilates is always coming from the center of your body. Last 2. Hold the leg out and extended, final 1. Now point, then flex the foot. Okay, it's like you're pointing over there and then pulling it back, being like, nope, just kidding. Point and pull back. 5, 4, 3, it's like your thigh is driving into the chair. 2, and then 1. Slowly lower that leg down, push into that right foot, and then lift and lower that left leg. Think of like a string that you're pulling that left leg up and then lowering it back down. 5, 8 total. 4, your thigh is pressing into the chair to allow that foot to lift. 3 more. Last 2. Hold it lifted. 1. Now point and flex 8 times through that left foot. So notice how I'm starting to, or maybe you can hear it already, or notice how I'm saying like inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Another Pilates principle is the breath. So we always want to move with the breath. 3, 2, and 1. So when you come back down, go ahead and open your feet out wide. Your hands will go onto your thighs there with your fingers down towards the ground and your palms onto your thighs. And from here, we're going to start to rotate your spine to the right as you push into your left thigh. When you inhale and lift your spine back up, exhale, get ready to rotate. And the picture of like wringing out a wet towel comes to mind here. So just like if you've got a sopping wet sponge or towel in your hands and you have to wring it out in one direction and the other, the one direction is keeping your hips anchored onto your chair. The other direction is helping your spine to twist away from it, almost like you're twisting off a bottle cap. 1 more to the left. And then lift back up. You'll keep the legs wide though. Okay, so now your hands either rest onto your hips or again, hook underneath of your chair. We're going to start to lift and lower both heels up and down. Working now through more ankle mobility here. Okay. But while you're here in this position, can you stay nice and tall? And it's almost like if you're at the point like in your fitness journey where maybe you don't have to have the chair underneath of you, like could you hover yourself off of that chair to give yourself that extra challenge? This is only if you feel comfortable to be able to maintain your balance, your posture while you're going through these movements. Give me 1 more to hold both heels lifted, then drop the right heel as the left heel stays lifted, and then switch, switch. So then it starts to become more like a brain teaser, okay? So the breath, the center, the precision, the control of your movements all come into one so that we can practice Pilates. And so Pilates doesn't have to be just like an hour a day where you set aside and move your body. Go ahead and bring those legs back together. But it can be a sort of lifestyle that you can start to move your body through. Scoot your butt forward towards the edge of your chair now. And then with that right leg, we're going to anchor down through your left leg. Your right leg heel, right foot heel is going to lift up. Scooch back so you can see my feet. So lift the right heel up, then kick that leg out, and then open it out towards the side. Pull it back in, flex, then bend. We're going to repeat that 7 more times. So we point or lift the heel, straighten that leg, and then open it out towards the side. Flex, and then place it back down. Notice how the left leg doesn't move. So you can anchor your hands down into that leg. Point, extend the leg, open, close, flex, and place it down. 5 more. Point, lift, open, close, pull it back down. Point, open, close, and then put it back down. Now, from the side view, as we point and lift, we want to try to keep the body from like doing anything like weird on its own. If it does happen, it's not the end of the world, but do you notice if that happens? You're trying again to control from the center of your body. Last 2. And then final 1. Point, extend, open, then close. And we switch over to the last side or left side. Classic. Yeah, I hope we don't have 3 sides. Lift, extend, open, then close. So as you're doing this, maybe put your hand onto the quad of your or thigh of your left leg and feel like how hard that muscle is working to keep that leg in that straight as an arrow position. Point, extend, open, then close, and then pull it back in. 5 more. And so I like to exhale during the hardest part of the exercise. So for you, it might be a different part of that exercise. Last 3. And Pilates is a great way, 2 more, to become mindful of how your body moves, to become mindful of like what feels good for your body, what challenges the body, what feels like almost impossible. 1 more, or can you like work your way up to it? Okay, nothing is impossible. You can always do it. Just gotta put your mind to it. So now this is where our weight's gonna come into play here. So grab your weight or your water bottle, whichever prop you've chosen for today. You're gonna place it between both of your hands so that you have it sideways or parallel to the ground, putting it right in front of your chest, elbows are in underneath. And then just to let you don't have to ever death grip it. Feet are flat, spine is tall, lift up tall. And as you exhale, push the weights up overhead. Inhale, pull it back down. Exhale, press. Inhale, pull it back down. So just like we practiced during our warm-up of all of the joints for our body, we want to make sure that the shoulders don't come up by the ears here and we're squishing our neck or our head, but instead we're creating space. We're creating that awareness of how this movement feels in your body here. Last 2. Hold the weight up overhead. Last 1. Okay, so now from there, can you bring that weight forward without your body leaning back? It's actually going to be the next move. So keep your body upright as the weight comes right just in front of the chest and then up as high as it feels comfortable. Notice how it's not all the way up overhead for me. If I kept going, I'd feel a pinch in my shoulders. Okay, last 4. 3. Feet are still flat and heavy. 2. And now the weight stays up overhead. Last 1. So now when the weight comes out in front of you, I do want you to lean back. Starting to load up the core. And then your body comes upright as your arms come up overhead. Lean back, arms come forward, pull forward as your arms go up. 6. 5. If you get to a point where like your heels start to lift off away from the mat, don't go back as far. I want you to feel like your feet are trying to slide away from you. That's the sort of energy I want you to put into the earth. Don't actually move them, but that's where we're going, down and away as your body goes back and away. I think that's 2 more. Hold the weight out in front of you. Last 1. If your shoulders are feeling like tight or sore here, you can put the weight down and just keep those arms hip shoulder distance apart. Rotate from left to right. Rotate and rotate. But as you're doing this, 6 more each side, you can pull the weight in closer for a little less challenge, or keep the arms as far away from you as you can for the most challenge. Okay, the further away it is, the longer the lever. The longer the lever, the heavier that dumbbell will feel, even though it might be 2 or 3 pounds. Last 3, 2, and then final 1 and 1. Right? Then come back up, go ahead and place that dumbbell onto your laps. Now, let's talk for a moment here about rotation. I want to always move the body first and then talk about why we need to do things a certain way. So I'm actually going to put my dumbbell out of the way. So when we come back to these rotations, we're going to go through that same series again one more time. But when we're going through that rotation, be aware or mindful if the knees are sort of moving away from each other or past each other. We don't want that to happen. You want to feel as if your knees and shins are up against a wall, flush up against it, and they are not pulling away from it on one side or on the other side or pushing into it on the other side. The reason for this is because we want to rotate from the waistline, from the ribs, from the spine, not the hips. Otherwise, that puts a lot of torquing tension onto the spinal column at the lower lumbar spine. So let's practice real quick before we come into that. Our arms are still getting a little break here. So genie arms or prayer hands are your options here. Hold those arms up, or you can let them rest in front of your chest or belly. And now rotate your spine from right to left. It's not going to feel like a very big movement, but what I want you to be aware of is if your legs are moving. So if I were standing doing this motion, what we're trying to avoid is this happening. So I'm demoing that right now. We don't want this to happen. When we're seated, it's a little more subtle for that to happen because it's obviously not as big of a range of motion that's happening here. Right to left, just a couple more times. And hopefully, because we're able to stabilize through the hips and mobilize through the thoracic spine, the mid part of your spine. That'll be our last one. Hopefully you feel how there's almost like a seat belt of connection from your external obliques down to your internal obliques. Okay, so your external obliques are if you put your hands in a very high jacket pocket, that's where the angle fiber goes. So those muscles help to pull you towards the direction of the opposite hip. And then the other, your internal obliques, are in that direction, but those are helping you to pull you in that direction. So a little bit of an anatomy lesson for you here today. Let's bring that weight back in front of the chest, and let's go through those same motions again. Now that we have a little bit more awareness of what's happening. Exhale, arms up, inhale, arms down. We want to make sure that we're not trying to look through the window of your arms and then pull back, but everything stays strong and long where you started, pushing down through the feet as we push up through the hands. So feel the oppositional energy, 5 more, of when you push your arms up, you push down towards the ground. Last 3, 2, arms stay up on this last one. Lower down to the chest level and then lift back up. If your arms are feeling a little sore or already tired from this, that's okay. Keep a bend into your elbows, and so that shortens the range, but it also shortens the lever. Okay, so you're still working those same muscles, but now that dumbbell or your weight just doesn't feel as heavy versus all the way out in front of that body. 3 more. Last 2. Stay up on the next one. Now from here, move your body backwards as those arms come forward. Stay heavy through the heels, and then you come back up. Maybe as we come through this the second time around, you can notice if things are feeling okay, a little bit more stable, a little stronger. Noticing if your heels are staying down and your feet are flat. For 4, 3, hold the weight out in front of you in 2, and then final 1. From here, rotate your whole torso from side to side, but be aware now if your knees are twisting, if your hips are moving. We keep your butt bones, your sits bones down onto the chair. Maybe we should put something that would make a noise if your butt moved. And then if we're going to keep it as still as possible for 3, 3, 2, 2, final 1. Then come back up. Put that weight down into your lap or back behind you. Give yourself a couple of cat and cows. Inhaling, pulling the chest forward. Exhaling, rounding through the spine. Repeat. Inhale and exhale. And then last one, inhale and exhale. All right, good. So now that weight or prop is going into just the right hand. With your left hand, you're going to place it down across the legs and lower that weight down by your side. So we're working on rows, which isolates through the back and your biceps. So from the side, we look like this. We don't want to look like this in this rounded, kind of lazy position, but instead your shoulders are pulled back. Your arm that's on your thigh is actually pushing downward. So it's always, again, about that oppositional energy and staying energized throughout the entire movement instead of just like, okay, we're doing this with the arm. Cool, I can do that. But can you do that while staying energized through the rest of your body? So now as you pull your right arm back, make sure that your body doesn't rotate. That's another movement that we're going to get ready for. As that right arm pulls back very slowly, again, like you're moving through that quicksand, molasses, or honey, and feel how, yeah, the elbow is scraping next to your side body or coming pretty close to it. We got about 4 more here, and that nothing else is really moving. You are like locked in stone in this position here. Last 2. Hold the arm back behind you, final 1. So now from that position, straighten that arm behind you and then bend. It's like the robot dance there. So just the elbow now is the only thing moving. As this is happening, can you check in with your core, with your belly, pulling the belly button away from your thighs, and then making sure that there's enough space there for somebody to put their, or like weave their arm underneath of you. 3, 2, then 1. Bend the elbow, lower that arm back down. And now as you roll back, I do want you to rotate your body. So you have to push a little bit more through your left arm. Rotate, pull back. So now you're looking towards the right and then reach back down. Now really starting that lawnmower. It hasn't started those first 8 reps. So now we're going to really pull back and finish up the lawn here for 5, 4, 3, hold your rotation in 2. Then last one, hold that rotation, come up, and then turn that palm up, lower that arm down and back up. Notice how my elbow though is behind my body. So this kind of isolates even more of the shoulder and the bicep there with the angle that I've had, that I'm able to maintain. So my body has actually turned forward out of that rotation. The rotation was just to bring your body up. Last 3, 2, then 1. Turn the thumb up, palm in, bring that elbow forward. So now we've got, sorry, you can't quite see it with the darker shirt I'm wearing, a 90-degree bend at the elbow, a hammer curl. You've got a hammer in your hand there and just whacking it down and pulling it up for 4, 3, last round 2, and 1. Good. Lower that arm down and switch over to the left side. Your right arm is now going to rest onto your thighs. You're going to keep your body straight forward. Pull those shoulders back, draw the rib cage up and away, draw the belly away from your thighs, and pull that elbow back, and then punch back towards the earth. 7, 6, 5. And even though like it doesn't feel or maybe even look like a big movement, like I want you to imagine that even though this feels light, like I'm feeling like, oh, I got a 30-pound weight that I'm pulling back. Like you can create the tension for yourself. Like I'm starting to get some sweat bullets going on across my forehead. Last 2, and then last 1. Okay. So now from there, kick that arm back behind you and only bend that elbow. If you're going slow enough, the tremor of truth, that tremor will really start to kick in as you control the movement, as you're precise with that movement. You can keep your head down if looking forward bothers the neck. Okay, you know what we did on one side, we always got to do it on the other side. It's like karma, what goes around comes around. Last 2 here. And then we're going to get ready for those rotation pulls. So now lower that long arm down and then pull back and rotate. It's like you're watching where that elbow goes and then reach it back down. 7. Here it is from the side. 6, 5, 4, Adding the rotation just adds in more of that core rotational energy. Last two. And then hold that arm back. Last one. You come upright. Both shoulders are lined up forward. Turn that palm up. Keep that elbow back. And then extend and bend. Extend and bend. So you can just barely see that arm down in your periphery vision if you're looking straight forward. Chin is parallel to the ground. For 4 more. Hold it up in 3. Last 2. Then final 1. Thumb up, palm in, and keep repeating that. But bring that elbow forward so you're at that 90-degree bend. The elbow's pretty close towards the side body. If you had your cell phone right under your armpit, although I don't recommend putting it there, but if you had something precious under your armpit, don't drop it to where it comes down to the ground. Last 2, and then 1. All right, so we're not going to do that round 2 times through. That first round was really just to like help those shoulders and the bigger muscle groups to light up. That weight is now going to go onto the thigh here. So it's kind of right above the knee at the thigh. Walk yourself again. If you're not at the end of your chair, walk yourself forward towards the end of your chair. Left foot stays heavy and right hand just sandwiches that dumbbell between your thigh and your palm. So now from here, this is adding weight for your hip and your core to do the work for you. Sit up tall, press down heavy, and lift and lower that right leg up and down. If this already feels too heavy and the resistance is too much, just take the dumbbell out of the way. But as you're lifting and lowering that leg, challenge yourself. Exhale. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, then 1. Take the right leg out to the side. How wide can you step it? So now working from there. If you can't lift it completely, just go for a heel lift. Okay? Otherwise, we're trying to lift, then lower that leg up and down. And when we open that leg out, notice how it affects the opposite oblique. So left side is probably firing up, lighting up like a Christmas tree. For 3 more, 2. And sometimes if we don't have the obliques completely turned on, take a moment to rest real quick. But if we don't have those obliques completely turned on, what might start to happen is a little bit of this. Okay, we try to compensate for the movement and your body kind of helps to lift the leg instead of the leg working with the obliques and you lifting and lowering from there. Okay, bring that leg back and switch it over to the left side. And from here, lift and lower that left leg. Notice how you have to press down a lot stronger for the right leg in order to lift the left. Okay, the same thing was happening on the left side. I just didn't have enough time to talk that out for you. 4, 3, 2, and then 1. Take it out to the side. How wide can you get it? If it feels like, okay, I can't even get my heel up, walk it in a little closer. Find your sweet spot. Where is your Goldilocks? So now from there, try to keep your body upright in that nice straight line as you lift and lower. 6, 5. Remember, you can have the option to just heel lift. 4, 3, last 2, and then 1. So take that dumbbell, you can put it back behind your chair like I'm doing right there, and we'll stretch out those legs with those external opening positions with the legs. So just open the legs out super wide, turn the toes out, externally rotated, and then rotate your spine, help to stretch through those obliques as well as those inner thighs and hips. 1 more each way from left to right. Inhale up and then exhale. Go over to the other side. All right, so now let's get a little bit more core work here. So I recommend turning to the right side just so we're all on the same page, and then walking your butt toward the back edge of your chair there. Your weight will be in your left hand. If you turn to the other side, just know that you're going to be doing the opposite of me, so it's not the end of the world. But if you turn to your right and your chair has a back to it, we're all going to be on the same page. If your chair doesn't have a back to it, I suggest like putting your chair like closer to a wall or another piece of furniture for you to hold on to. Okay, so first put that weight, just like hold it like palm toward your chest, as close to the chest as you can get it. Feet are going to start flat onto the ground, and your right hand is hooked on and holding onto that edge of your chair there. So now lean your body back so you feel more core turned on. If you don't, try letting go of your hand and see if the core turns on then. Then that hand is just barely like hooked on, like Captain Hook, barely holding on to that chair there. So now from here, lift that left arm up and then pull it back in front of your chest. If it feels good to twist and turn that palm, go for it, okay? If you want to challenge yourself, let go of the right hand completely and reach it forward. Or more. Last 3, 2, and if you're at the point, last one, where that weight is like not even, sit up tall, not even an option for you, that's fine. Go through the motions without the weight. Still imagine that you have something that you're punching and pulling back down and up. Okay, so now rack up in the starting position, weight in front of your chest, palm towards your chest, right hand barely hooked onto the chair. It's more of like just kickstand energy. So now lift your right leg as you punch your left arm. Now we get into like more of the brain teaser part of the movements. Can you control and precision or precisely move through these exercises without having to like lift, then lower, then lower? Can you do them both at the same time? 4 more. Maybe that right arm reaches forward for 3, 2, and then final 1. You come back up nice and tall and just put that weight between your legs and then roll down to help release any tension out of the low back or the hips if you feel it there. You have the option to also open those legs out to the side. Let your body hang a little lower towards the ground when that happens. Then push into the feet, roll and stack the spine up tall. Nice. Okay, and then rack that weight up one more time in front of the chest. Walk those feet together if you took that wide option. Right arm forward, lean back, hook onto the chair. And now from here, your right or left arm is going to reach forward and rotate your body towards the right. Inhale forward. And then exhale back. So if you don't need that right hand onto the chair, bring both hands to the weight and rotate back to the right and then forward just out in front of you. So nothing towards the left. Don't worry, we do this all again on the other side. 4, 3, feel the left rib cage reaching towards the right hip. 2, and then final 1. Come back up. Okay, so now one more final movement where we add that move with the right leg this time. So now maybe both arms, or maybe you set up with right arm hooked first for stability, left arm reaching forward. If it feels too heavy with that dumbbell, pull it closer towards your heart and go through that same rotation and then back to center. As you're rotating though, can you lift your right leg up and then lower it back down? 7, 6. Anchor down through the left foot. 5. Soften through the shoulders. Think about that string that's on the top of your head, pulling you back to where the wall and the ceiling meet for 3 more. 2. Then final 1. Come forward. Go ahead and open those legs out wide. Your dumbbell and your hands and your head reach towards the earth. Breathe into the low back space. And then exhale, sink down a little more towards the earth. Come back up nice and tall. Bring the dumbbell with you. Actually, you can place it down. If you want to place it onto your chair or somewhere close by, not on the ground, we're not going to use it for this next stretch. So scoot your butt now as close to the left edge of your chair. You'll hold on to the back of the chair with your right hand. I'll give you a second view in just a moment. Now your left butt cheek is off of the chair, so your left leg can go back behind you. And notice how this looks very similar to a lunge. So if I stood up, we're not going to do that, but if I stood up, that's how we would sit down onto the chair. Your right hand is hooked onto the back of the chair, left leg is active or passively pressing into the earth, whatever feels comfortable for your body today. Your left arm is going to reach up and over towards the right side as your left knee tries to drive towards the earth even more. Okay, so now lift back up. We'll keep repeating that stretch. I'm just going to show you how this looks from the back side. Okay, So right arm is hooked onto that back of the chair, and I'm reaching over towards the right. Come back up, inhale, and keep repeating that stretch. Exhale, over towards the right. 3 more times, 5 total. Here's how it looks from the front. If you'd like a deeper stretch, push that leg back behind you and try to lengthen it so far behind you that like it's almost straight. 2 more. Inhale up, exhale over. And then last one, as you come up and over to the side, place your left hand down onto the back of your chair and slide your right hand over to the other side of your chair. So now we're trying to lift our body up. Push with your right arm, pull with your left arm. So you're trying to rotate your spine to look towards the right, even more, even more, even more. Breathe here for 3 breaths. Activate through that left foot, push down or lengthen away from you. Last one. Then slide that right arm forward, reach up and overhead with the left arm one last time, and then come back down by your left side and scoop that left leg forward. Get ready to do it all again on the other side. All right, so from there, grab your dumbbell, turn yourself to the left. If you worked on the other side, that's fine. You'll just do the other side. Scoot your butt all the way towards the back. We don't want to be like hanging off the edge there, because when we lean back, we don't want the chair to pop up with us. Make sure you're far enough back to where there's at least some space for your butt to roll back towards. Your right arm goes forward, your left arm hooks, and you lean that body back. Sorry, we're in towards the chest first. So in towards the chest first, lift, exhale, pull back down in front of the chest. If you want to, challenge yourself, lift away with that left arm, reaching forward for 5, 4, 3, 2. We get ready for the brain teaser in 1. Come back up, take a moment there to catch your breath, to reassess how everything feels. We're doing good, we're doing good. Bring that weight back in front of the chest, hook with the left hand, lean it back. And now this is where you're going to lift and lift the leg and the arm together. Lower them back down together and repeat for 7, 6, 5, 4, get a little snap, crackle, pop through the shoulders. Nice space up in there. 3, as long as there's no pain, there's nothing wrong with those pops. 2, and then last one. You can come back up. Take a moment there if you want to stretch those legs out to the side and go down to release through any tension of your hips or your low back. You can even let your head kind of sway from side to side. But always remember, listen to your body first. If this doesn't feel good, maybe just a cat and cow will feel better. Okay, so now roll back up, stack the spine tall. Okay. And now reach that right arm out in front of you. Hinge the body back, left arm is barely hooked onto the chair. And now rotate, bring that right arm across to the left and then back out in front of you. If you want that more of a challenge position, bring your left hand to the dumbbell. You interlace your fingers, make sure your thumbs are giving you a thumbs up. A good job there for you. 5, 4, we're just churning that butter here. 3, 2, and then final one, we bring ourselves up, take a moment break. And this is where the next time we twist, your left leg is going to be coming up towards you. So adding that extra challenge. If that doesn't feel like it's in the cards for you, just come back to the standard rotations. So left arm hooks, right arm reaches forward, lean the body back, rotate, lift the leg, come back through center. Maybe the left hand joins the party and you repeat that for 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and final one. Spread those legs out wide. Go ahead and put that dumbbell down between the legs, reaching the body down, letting the head sink heavily towards it. Move the body back and forth, side to side. And then roll yourself up. You can leave the dumbbell down where it is. And slide your butt, your booty, your whole body off to the right side. Right leg steps back and find that lunge position. Okay, it might feel or look a little different on this side than it did on the other side. That is okay. Notice that, be aware of that, and maybe come back to this recording once it's uploaded to YouTube and keep getting better, and better. Left arm is on top of the back of your chair or pushing onto a wall or the piece of furniture next to you. Right arm inhales up and exhale to the left. Inhale up, exhale, reach to the left. Keep repeating that for 3 more. Creating this like banana shape through the body as you reach to the left for 2, opening through the right rib cage and hip space. Last one. Hold this side bend. And now can you bring your right hand down to the front edge of your chair? Left hand comes to the back edge of your chair and stack the spine up. Push with your left, pull with your right to kind of twist yourself a little deeper there. 3 big breaths here to inhale taller. Exhale deeper. Keep the right foot actively reaching back or pushing down behind you. 2. Inhale. Last one. Slide the left arm back on top. Your right arm reaches up overhead. And then come back all the way up. And then slide that right leg forward. Alrighty. So from there, go ahead and bring yourself to look back forward. So sliding your butt forward, bring that dumbbell, bring the dumbbell with you first and then come back to look forward. Sorry about that. Good. All right, so then from here, bring that dumbbell back in front of the chest, but you can hook your hands. So all I did right here was just like hook thumb and forefinger right there on either side. So making a cross in front of my chest there with my arms. So my right hand has the left side of the dumbbell and my left hand has the right side of the dumbbell. So making that crossed position here, holding those arms as close to the chest as you can. Plant the feet into the mat, into the ground in front of you. And you're going to lean yourself back. How far can you go? Maybe can you touch the back of your chair, making sure those legs don't lift up, and then come back forward. As this is happening, the way that your hands are positioned, you're trying to like slide them away from each other. So if I didn't have that dumbbell there, my hands are going like this, like a lot of energy is pushing them away from each other. Okay? And all that does is just help to make sure that the upper body is still working with the core. You might notice how if you're actively pressing through the hands, then it might feel a little easier to go back and forth. So now when we start to go back and forward, I want you to start to twist to the right, then lean back, and then come forward. Twist to the left, lean back, tap, come forward. It's okay if you can't tap. If you can't, scoot your butt back a little bit more onto your chair. Twist to the right, come forward, to the left, back, and forward. Keep repeating that. A couple more each side. Let's go 2 more. Push those arms away from you. Activate through the chest. Last one to the right. Make sure again, those knees, those legs are not moving from the hips. And then last one to the left. Awesome. Okay, so now from there, take that dumbbell just into your right hand. So the dumbbell is like vertical to the ground. So then elbow comes up in front of you. You could even rest the dumbbell onto your shoulder like this for now. Keep your body straight. Your ribs are pulled in underneath of you. And we're going for a tricep extension. As you press up, then tap that dumbbell to the shoulder. Exhale. Okay, so this is the foundational movement here first. If the next one doesn't resonate with you or doesn't feel good through the body, just stay right here. Your next extension of the arm is going to be where you twist towards that arm. Left hand can maybe like tap onto the left leg and notice how if you're keeping that left arm long, it kind of slides forward. Let it, so that we don't feel the leg moving. Instead, you feel the arm moving. Let's try 4 more there. 3. Good job. Nice. 2. Isn't it crazy how much we can do with just one dumbbell in our whole body? Final 1. Bring it back down, switch over towards your left hand. So now that dumbbell, make sure it's vertical to the ground, resting on top of your shoulder. Elbow stays in front of the shoulder. So keep it from winging out to the side, just to help to protect that shoulder. So as you press up and tap down, we go for 7 more. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, then 1. Now add on to your twist. You twist towards that arm. Your right arm stays long and you're sliding it back and forth onto your leg. So we can feel how the thoracic spine, the middle spine, where most of our rotation needs to come from in the first place. So of all of our bones in the spine, that middle part of our back tends to be the tightest, but also has so much capacity for mobility. So let's make sure we're moving it so we don't lose it. 2 more. Here's 2. And then final 1. Great. All right, go ahead and bring that weight down just for a moment. Let's bring the right arm on top of the left shoulder, left hand on top of that, excuse me, right elbow, and just gently press that elbow backwards so that your arm kind of comes behind you. You can give yourself like a good pat on the back there. Notice how that stretch kind of comes down the back of your arm, behind your shoulder. Switch over to the other side. Place your left hand down first, then gently press that elbow second. Maybe give yourself a little pat on the back. Okay, and then right arm is going to reach up, bend the elbow, pat yourself onto the back, and your left hand comes to that right elbow, and then gently pull or press that elbow towards the earth. So your hand is sliding down the back there. Once it's to a position where you're like, okay, I feel that good stretch, make sure your head isn't like nodding forward. Instead, pull it back up against the arm, and that will help to increase the stretch even more. Just always be gentle with these movements here. You never want to move fast or furiously through them. Release and take your left arm up, pat your back there, right hand to the elbow and slide it down. Pull the head back and make sure that those ribs aren't popping forward. Instead, they're pulled down and underneath of you, so we still have that core engaged. All right, release the right hand, let go of the left, bring your arms back down and grab that weight. We're going to come back into that crossed wrist position, but now this time the other arm is in front. If you're not sure which arm was in front, like go the awkward way first. Okay, so if this position right now, my left arm is in front of my right, that feels fine. But when I bring my right arm in front of my left, that feels like awkward to me. I know that I was not here when we went through this the first time around. Feet are planted, knees hip distance apart, spine is tall, lean back and forth for 8, pushing that dumbbell like you're trying to break it into 2 pieces. If you have a water bottle, I realize I didn't say this at the beginning, but if you're using a water bottle here, just pinch it between your thumb and forefinger and just hold it in place and still try to break it apart. Last 4. And remember, if you can't quite touch the back of your chair, that's okay. Scoot your butt back so that you can. For 3, 2. So what this does is helps to isolate the chest. Final 1. Now rotate to the right. Make sure you don't like lean off to the right. We just rotate, then tap your right shoulder, come forward, rotate left. 8 total or 4 each side. Go right, then back, left, then back. I want to make sure that we're just like barely touching. So we don't just want to like jam into the back of your chair, take a moment to rest and then come back forward. You have the engagement the entire time. One more time, right. And then left. Alrighty guys, go ahead and put that dumbbell down with your hands. If you have a back to your chair, grab onto the back of your chair. If you don't have a back to your chair, you can interlace your fingers behind you, okay? If you can't quite interlace your fingers, grab for something like a towel or maybe your dumbbell, hold that between your arms, but holding onto the back of your chair as you lean the body forward, like open the chest more, think of your cow spine, and breathe into the stretch. So now as we are ending our time together, like reflect back on how today felt for you. It probably felt really good to move the body. Maybe you showed up and you were just like, I don't know, I don't feel really good about today. Keep your left hand attached to the chair and bring your right hand to your left knee. And now slide your hand down until that left arm can come up towards the back of your chair. Again, if you don't have a back of your chair, I suggest pushing your chair up against something that you can hold on to, like another piece of furniture. You can rest your right elbow down, but this kind of helps us to rotate into that left pec or left chest stretch a little bit more. So if you showed up today and you were just like, oh no, I don't really feel good about it. I'm just here because somebody told me about it. I wanted to see what it was like that's great too. You showed up, you did the work. Okay, come back up and rotate now to where your right hand is back behind you. Left arm is down onto your thigh, and you're kind of looking out over your back right shoulder, looking toward your hand there. If that doesn't feel good on your neck, just look down toward your left arm. Whenever we're working towards a goal, you keep going towards the goal with each step that you take. So even if it's a little tiny micro step, like a centipede kind of step forward, it is still a step forward. Come back up, place your hands onto your knees, take an inhale here. And as you exhale, let your hands slide down the shins, rolling your chin toward your chest, your spine forward into that flexion spine. And you can start to heel toe those feet out wider than your hips, letting your hands either drop to your ankles or your feet or all the way down towards the ground. Taking those big breaths in and feeling how that breath helps to open up the spine a little bit more. Maybe as you exhale, you can drop into the stretch a little more. One more inhale. One more exhale. Push into the feet and inhale. Stack the spine up tall. As you stack it tall, good. I'm going to turn back towards you guys. And now put your hands onto the rib cage space there, elbows out to the side. And as you inhale, let the rib cage open out and then close back in on your exhale. So inhale, exhale. Into the nose and out to the mouth. Place your hands lower onto the belly and imagine that belly is pulling forward and outward. Exhale. Maybe the belly gets a little smaller. Inhale. Maybe soften the eyes. Place the hands down onto your lap, closing the eyes completely. And inhale, 2 more big breaths in. Stack the spine taller. Exhale, drop the shoulders. 1 more big breath in, the biggest breath you've taken yet today. And exhale. Nice job today, everyone. All right, so give yourself a round of applause. Remember that every little step you take towards your goal is still a step forward. So if that's your choice to not show up, that's a step in whatever direction it is towards that other goal that you might want to take. So say it was, I don't know, if you're looking to refine your cooking skills and you needed to make dinner instead. Always think about how you can choose, your life accordingly. So today's class is all about that control, the precision, and working through all of those Pilates principles. I hope you guys enjoyed today's class, and I look forward to seeing you guys again next month.